tourism, economics, state regulation, and the advancement of civilization. You can adjust the language according to your preference. Choose the program that suits your needs from the playlist. Customize the subtitle position on your laptop, and adjust the video speed with the slider to suit your needs and comfort. Let's grow together through your subscribe and like on this video.
In the current digital era, tourism platforms rely on streaming data analytics to track visitor movement. Smart systems detect traffic congestion, environmental strain, and consumer spending patterns. Data transparency builds investor confidence. International organizations evaluate tourism indicators, comparing growth rates among competing destinations. Tourism is no longer local. It operates worldwide. Countries compete for visitors, striving to maintain a strong economic stronghold. Political leaders must balance economic ambition with environmental limits. If development exceeds carrying capacity, fragile ecosystems may collapse. Thus, tourism policy must integrate economic logic, ecological responsibility, and political accountability. Tourism is deeply political. It is shaped by international alliances, economic diplomacy, and strategic competition. Nations often compete to attract investors, airlines, and cruise operators, building tourism corridors that extend throughout continents. Some states treat tourism as a geopolitical instrument, strengthening their cultural presence and projecting soft power beyond borders. Others consider tourism a fragile sector that must be shielded from economic shocks and political instability. When financial crises strike, governments attempt to cope with sudden revenue losses. Public funding is redirected. Emergency stimulus packages are assigned, and ministries attempt to prevent economic contraction. However, recovery is not automatic. Regions overly dependent on tourism may struggle to stabilize employment and tax revenue. Environmental degradation has historically led to ecosystem collapse. In some regions, biodiversity has disappeared abruptly due to habitat destruction. Mass extinctions in prehistoric eras reshaped entire ecosystems. Scientists have inferred that climatic shifts, volcanic eruptions, and asteroid impacts triggered rapid biological demise. Tourism now depends on protecting fragile habitats. Coral reefs, forests, and wetlands must survive rising sea levels and warming temperatures. If warming continues uncontrollably, ecosystems may become insufficient to support wildlife. Economic models suggest that without environmental investment, tourism revenue may decline sharply. Climate resilience must therefore be incorporated into tourism planning. Tourism generates significant employment across hospitality, transportation, and cultural services. Many workers are trained in vocational institutions designed to enhance service quality. However, economic inequality may create social dissatisfaction. When wages stagnate and living costs rise, communities may feel marginalized. Some tourism workers experience income deprivation, particularly during seasonal downturns. Governments must introduce labor protection mechanisms to ensure fair treatment. Workforce development programs enable young professionals to gain transferable skills. Training initiatives strengthen economic resilience and promote upward mobility. Tourism must not only create wealth but distribute opportunity. Historically, maritime exploration transformed global tourism. Early navigators encountered unfamiliar cultures, establishing trade networks that later evolved into tourism routes. Expeditions sometimes contradicted earlier geographical theories. When new lands were recognized, territorial conquest and commercial expansion often followed. Some explorers sought precious metals, others sought strategic influence. Political ambitions frequently fueled these voyages. Modern tourism is more peaceful, yet it still reflects historical power dynamics. Global mobility patterns remain shaped by colonial legacies and economic hierarchies. Understanding this history is essential for equitable tourism governance. Technology now plays a crucial role in tourism management. Smart systems detect environmental stress signals, decode behavioral patterns, and optimize resource allocation. Sensors measure pollution levels, detect water leakages, and monitor energy consumption. Data analytics can decode consumer preferences and identify travel tendency patterns. Artificial intelligence systems enable authorities to enable predictive modeling. With sufficient data, policymakers can anticipate tourism demand and mitigate environmental pressure. Yet technology must be used cautiously. Surveillance systems may raise ethical concerns regarding privacy and civil liberties. Balance remains essential. Natural phenomena continue to shape tourism risk. In mountainous regions, heavy snowfall creates snowdrift formations that disrupt transportation. In coastal areas, high winds and powerful waves generate dangerous conditions. Lightning flashes illuminate stormy skies, and volcanic ash clouds may vaporize into luminous plumes. Extreme weather events can damage infrastructure, erode coastlines, and reduce visitor confidence. Governments must invest in disaster preparedness systems that are both visible and reliable. Infrastructure must be strengthened to resist friction, wind pressure, and water infiltration. Sustainable architecture reduces long-term vulnerability. Cultural heritage preservation remains a cornerstone of tourism strategy. Ancient monuments, archaeological sites, and historic neighborhoods require careful conservation. Structures once nearly ruined have been meticulously restored, their original form retained rather than surrendered to decay. In some cities, entire districts were preserved through coordinated public policy. Preservation efforts demonstrate that economic development and cultural protection are not mutually exclusive. However, excessive commercialization may dilute authenticity. Policymakers must ensure that tourism does not reduce heritage sites to superficial attractions. Heritage is not a commodity alone, it is identity. In the global economy, tourism performance is measured through rival statistics, occupancy rates, and foreign exchange earnings. Analysts compare growth among regions and assess which destinations gain a competitive advantage. Some economies achieve remarkable growth, others struggle due to political instability or inadequate infrastructure. Tourism strategy must therefore integrate economic modeling, environmental science, and political foresight. Ultimately, sustainable tourism depends on governance that is transparent, adaptable, and inclusive. When managed responsibly, tourism strengthens prosperity. When neglected, it accelerates inequality and environmental damage. The future of tourism will depend not only on market forces but on collective political will. By the early 21st century, tourism had become one of the most dynamic global industries. It had gradually transformed from elite travel into mass mobility, reshaping economies across continents. Economic globalization created vast interconnected systems. Airports expanded, coastal resorts multiplied, and inland heritage zones were revitalized. Some destinations experienced rapid prosperity while others struggled with uneven development. Yet prosperity can be fragile. If governments fail to regulate land acquisition, speculation may accelerate property prices beyond local affordability. Communities may be displaced, and economic benefits may become concentrated among a limited elite. Sustainable tourism requires political foresight and social responsibility. Scientific research has revealed the long-term consequences of environmental neglect. Forests once dense with biodiversity may become barren if development proceeds unchecked. In some regions, natural landscapes were conquered for rapid infrastructure expansion. Hills were leveled, wetlands drained, and coral reefs damaged. Environmental monitoring agencies now attempt to trace ecosystem stress indicators before irreversible collapse occurs. When damage becomes visible, it may already be too late. Policy reforms must therefore anticipate risk rather than react to disaster. Political systems that delay action may face severe economic demise. Throughout history, exploration reshaped civilizations. Merchant fleets sailed across oceans, carrying goods, culture, and ideology. Some voyages were driven by curiosity, others by ambition. Territories were mapped, settlements founded, and sometimes violently seized. As maritime empires expanded, port cities flourished. Tourism routes today often follow the same historical corridors once used for commerce and conquest. Understanding these historical foundations allows modern policymakers to recognize how tourism intersects with memory, identity, and power. Urban tourism presents unique challenges. Rapid visitor inflow may strain infrastructure, increase waste production, and intensify traffic congestion. When housing markets become speculative, local residents may be priced out of historic neighborhoods. Social cohesion may weaken. To prevent such outcomes, municipalities implement zoning regulations, visitor caps, and taxation mechanisms. Transparent Governance ensures that tourism growth remains aligned with community welfare. Political accountability is essential without oversight. Short-term profit may override long-term sustainability. Biodiversity conservation is inseparable from tourism sustainability. National parks generate revenue while protecting endangered ecosystems. If species become extinct, ecological balance collapses. Some regions have already witnessed dramatic wildlife loss. Conservation policies aim to preserve habitats, restore damaged landscapes, and encourage responsible visitor behavior. Education campaigns inform tourists about environmental responsibility. Sustainable tourism requires informed participation from travelers as well as policymakers. Tourism contributes significantly to the national GDP. It supports hotels, transport providers, artisans, and local farmers. However, over-reliance creates vulnerability. During global crises, travel demand can decline abruptly. Revenue streams may shrink, leaving workers unemployed. Diversification strengthens resilience. Governments invest in technology, agriculture, and creative industries to complement tourism income. Economic planning must consider volatility. Only balanced growth ensures long-term stability. Education plays a critical role in shaping the future of tourism governance. Universities and training institutions equip students with analytical skills, environmental awareness, and cross-cultural competence. Future leaders must understand economics, ecology, and political science simultaneously. They must navigate complex international agreements and negotiate sustainable solutions. Innovation will determine competitiveness. Smart cities, renewable energy systems, and digital platforms redefine visitor experience. Tourism's future lies not only in expansion but in intelligent management. Tourism reflects the story of civilization itself: movement, exchange, curiosity, ambition. It has connected continents, preserved heritage, generated employment, and fostered diplomacy. Yet it has also exposed inequality, environmental fragility, and political tension. The challenge of our era is clear: balance growth with preservation, prosperity with equity, and mobility with responsibility. Governments must regulate wisely, communities must participate actively, travelers must act conscientiously. If managed responsibly, tourism can remain a powerful engine of development. If neglected, it may contribute to irreversible damage. The future of tourism is not predetermined. It depends on collective choices made today, choices shaped by science, ethics, governance, and global cooperation. Tourism is more than travel. It is a reflection of how humanity chooses to engage with the world.